Welcome to A Pair of Bookends, the book club you can carry anywhere. I'm your host, Hannah MacDonald, and I'll be bookending the conversation with some of the most exciting voices from the bookish world. Hello and welcome to Books to Screen, the series where I invite bookish guests to join me for deep dives into my favourite topic, adaptations. For this instalment, I'm joined by Hannah Beer. Hannah is a writer based in London. She is the author of I Make My Own Fun, which is out now in paperback, and was described by Alice Slater as an absolute banger of the highest order, which I wholeheartedly agree with. If you love celebrity culture, gossip, stories of obsession, and wild, messy women, this one is for you. Hannah also writes the pop culture newsletter, Emotional Speculation, and has recently stepped into her agony aunt era by launching Emotional Advice, a new section of her newsletter for readers to submit questions about life, love, writing, and everything in between. Today, Hannah joins me to discuss a books to screen adaptation that the internet has gone feral for, including us. Heated Rivalry is a 2025 TV adaptation based on the Game Changers book series by Canadian author Rachel Reed. This specific story, Heated Rivalry, was the second in said series and was published in 2019. It tells the story of Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, two professional hockey players on rival teams that at the height of their success find themselves drawn to one another in a decade-long secret romance. The series was directed, written and adapted for screen by Jacob Tierney for Crave, a Canadian network, but the people want what the people want, and it soon became a worldwide phenomenon. The series is led by actors Hudson Williams and Connor Storrie and is already confirmed for a season 2. We are going to the cottage and you're all coming with us. Hannah Bay, welcome to A Pair of Bookends.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here.
I think we are not calm about this and
No,
don't think we will be at any point.
I haven't been calm about this since January,
So
so
fair.
I don't anticipate I'm going to be calm now. So just
So fair.
brace yourselves.
I delayed it. I eked it out. I don't know what that's called, like delayed gratification or something.
No, honestly, well done. You edged yourself.
I edged myself, yes. Literally what happened. But before we dive into Heated Rivalry and get super feral, I have prepared you for some quick fire questions on adaptations. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't know how quick I'm going to be, but I'm going to try.
So fair, it's fine. Yeah. In your opinion, what is the best adaptation?
Okay, so I was thinking about this and I realised that actually a lot of my favourite films are adaptations, so there are a lot of them. But I would say I love The Talented Mr. Ripley. I think that is like an absolutely perfect film, like Philip Seymour Hoffman in that, like absolutely incredible. It's so beautiful. I think it has that same sort of like, I don't know, like intrigue and like sexiness that the novel has, and it just translates so well to screen. But then I also have to do a little plug for the Winona Ryder Little Women, because I loved that film when I was a kid and I still like just think it holds up so well. And it's like the Greta Gerwig one is great as well, but this one I just think is it's perfect. It's perfect.
I knew I'd do this. Right, I've not watched the Winona Ryder one, so I
Oh my
know
God,
how bad it's
yeah,
that. But
you've
I
got
love the Greta
to.
Gerwig one, so yeah, maybe this year when I do my annual rewatch, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to do
no,
the Winona
honestly, you
Ryder
should.
one.
I think they both hold up so well, and I think they're really nice. Like, there's enough differences between them that like you don't feel like one's kind of just like a rehashing of the other. But I don't know, Winona Ryder's just so perfect in that role, and it's like got baby Kirsten Dunst in it, and she plays Amy so well, and Susan Sarandon is the mum, I think, which is just like incredible.
Love
Yeah, I
that.
recommend. I recommend.
I will have to watch.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best character casting? Ilya
Okay.
Rozanov.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, apart from Shane Hollander and Ilya Rezanov, who are perfect. Genuinely, they couldn't have found anyone better to play those roles. But
Honestly.
aside from those boys, who we will talk about, but I think, have you watched the other Bennett sister, the
I've
one that's
not
just
yet,
come out?
no.
Oh
I've
my
heard it's so
God.
good.
Okay, so it's so good. Ruth Jones plays Mrs. Bennett, and
Yeah.
she plays her so well. Like I remember I studied, I mean, I think like everyone in the UK studied Pride and Prejudice for GCSE, but
I
I
didn't.
remember, really?
Yeah, so rude. I
Oh my
basically learned
God.
nothing in English. We just,
Well,
we just studied Romeo
that's
and
it.
Juliet and they whacked the film on and were like, there you go. It's
I
like,
mean, you know what? Fair enough. Did you watch the Leonardo DiCaprio one? Because that
yeah,
was like, what more do you need to learn? Just watch Leo
true, yeah.
DiCaprio in that night outfit in the pool, and you're done. That's Shakespeare.
I don't know how he get an English GCSE out of that.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah. Do you know? I think I did that as well. I mean, he's actually a really good. He I think plays that part really well.
Yeah, yeah.
But Ruth Jones plays Mrs. Bennet like exactly how I remember being taught Mrs. Bennet was like in GCSE. Like which is a really nerdy thing to say, but I remember my English teacher being like, like she's really got to try here. Like her husband's doing fuck all, basically. Maybe don't keep in the fact I said fuck all, but her
We
husband's
swear
doing
here.
nothing. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Her husband's doing nothing. Like he's kind of disinterested. Like she has to marry them all off. Like she's like desperate and like it's a really difficult situation for her. And I think that Ruth Jones just played her so well in that way. It was like she was really kind of ruthless and yeah, I thought
Ruthless.
it was really good. Yeah,
See what you did there?
ruthless. Ruthless Jones.
What is an adaptation that you would love to see?
Have you read The Wedding People by
Yes. No, I've
Alison?
not. I've not. I've got it on my
Okay.
TBR, but I've not read
Oh
it.
my
No.
God, it's so good. I read it, I think I read it on a plane, and I was, when everyone's like, oh my God, this book made me laugh out loud, and it's never funny. You're like, okay, well, that wasn't funny, so I've been missold. This book actually did make me laugh out loud. I was on the plane laughing, like surrounded by other people. It was really beautiful, really funny, like unexpectedly funny, because it starts off with quite like a dark, like relatively dark premise at the very
Yeah.
beginning. But well, I think it is going to be adapted because I
Yeah,
read
it's been optioned.
something, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
being directed by this director called Nicole Holofcener, who I love. Like she's like, well, she did a lot of screenwriting. She wrote quite a few episodes of Sex and the City. She wrote for Gilmore
Love.
Girls. She directed this film called Enough Said, which has Julia Louis-Dreyfus and James Gandolfini in it before he died. I think it was like his last film that he made before he died. And
No
that is like a
way.
gorgeous rom-com. And I can really see that she would do justice to this book. And I don't know like what the time frame is like on that and if it's even going ahead, but that is something that I would love to see adapted. Like I think it would work really well.
You've made me really want to. That's going up the TBR pile now because
Yeah,
I need
honestly,
to.
it's just so nice. And it would work so well because it's all kind of like set in one location. Like it's
Yeah.
all and on this one little like not island, but it's like maybe it is literally on Rhode Island, which I think is an island. Anyway,
It's such a
um,
random premise as well. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's one of those premises that I'm like, I wish I'd thought of that because it's so good. It's like like
Well, we
it's
will get
like
into the premise that you thought of because that
mhm.
is an excellent premise. So
Thank
fair
you very
play to
much.
you.
Thank you.
Um, what is an upcoming adaptation that you're excited for, or one that you've enjoyed recently?
So obviously apart from The Wedding People, which I realize I've kind of just answered that question, but it's I am excited for I think they're adapting Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow,
Yes,
which
yeah, yeah.
yeah, which I am excited for. I'm nervous for it because I loved that book so much that I'm like, what if it doesn't kind of do justice to
Mm,
it. But I think that if they do it well, it could be so good. Like I think being able to kind of capture that like the beauty of like creativity and like
yeah,
I don't know, I think it'd be quite interesting to see how they do all the stuff with all the games. I think that would just
yeah.
be really nice. So yeah, I'm excited to see that when it comes through.
I've still not read it. I really need to get to it.
Oh my
I
God,
have like
it's
the
so
world's
good.
smallest window for like books that are
Hmm.
outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to cram like everything in. So I feel
No,
like,
I know what
yeah,
you
I need
mean.
to get to
Also, I definitely have that thing where if a book's really popular, I'm like, well, I don't want to read it. I'm like,
I'm
I'll
not
get
going
to
to be
that in my
part of the
own good
hype.
time. Yeah.
I'm too indie for that.
Yeah, like sorry, let's just like give me a minute. And then I come to it like 3 years later. I'm like, guys, this book, have you heard?
An author that you think would be great at writing for screen.
Who did I think about for this one? Oh, Eliza Clark. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
because she is so sharp and she's so funny
Yeah.
and incisive. And I think all of my favorite kind of TV shows and films and stuff have that kind of like quite fast, quite biting
Yeah.
dialogue. And I think she'd be so good at that. So
I feel like
I
she's
would love
been
to see
working on
it.
the script for Boy Parts for like the longest time.
Oh my God. Well, because they
Um,
did the play of it, which I did go and
yeah, yeah,
see.
yeah. I wanted to go see that so bad, but I didn't get to see
It
it.
was
No.
good. It was good. But I do think that, like, I mean, that's another one that I think would work so well as a
Yeah,
film. Or maybe a TV show, actually. Maybe it'd be good for TV.
yeah, I think so.
Mm.
I think it would be good as like a BBC series,
Oh, yeah, it would.
like a
Yeah, like a
mini series
six-parter.
sort of. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
six-parter.
Yeah.
We could do this.
Let's do it.
An adaptation that you hated.
Oh, okay. So I hated the new Wuthering Heights. Like
So you know what? So fair,
I
fair.
absolutely despised it. I actually wrote about it in my Substack about I compared it to Heated Rivalry and I was like, we have been missold.
Do you know what? I was just imagining you then, like, you know, the Regina George voiceover.
This girl is the ugliest. No, I absolutely hated it. I thought it was like derivative and kind of cynical, and I thought it looked like it was visually gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, like fair play to Ms. Emerald Fennell. She has an incredible visual eye, but I found it so just like I felt like I was being spoon-fed
Mm.
hotness, and I just didn't appreciate that.
Spoon-fed honest.
I was like, no.
Stop. Oh my God. No, I I loved it, but as a separate entity to the book. I was like, you
Mm.
can't, it's
I
not
think,
the
yeah,
same.
I think that's fair. And I think, because I did go in thinking that this is going to be separate to the book. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't, obviously there were a lot of English lit girls who were like, this is an abomination. And I was like, I'm not thinking of it in that way. I'm like, I
They were
know,
all in my TikTok comments. I was like,
oh, of
please
course.
leave.
Like,
Like
leave me
they were so mad when I shared like a clip of the episode I
alone.
did. They were so
Hmm.
mad. They were like,
Really?
how dare you say this about the the abuse that, oh my God, what's her name? Who Alison Oliver played.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
They
Oh God, what is her name?
actually can't remember her name, so they'll hate me even more for that now
Yeah,
if they're like waiting.
let's just skip past
Let's
that.
move on.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was just like, I kind of think that probably she should have just used it as light inspiration and given it a different name. Like given
Yeah,
all the characters different names, and then it could have been
inspired by.
slightly, yeah, like it could have been like it would have stood on its own a little bit more had
Yeah.
that been the case. But yeah, I was going in expecting to be like kind of turned on, and I wasn't. I was like, oh,
I'm
I
dry.
see. Yeah.
This is going to be the world's worst segue, but
Yeah.
something
And
that doesn't make us try is heated rivalry.
and here we go.
We're there. Tell us how you first came across heated rivalry.
Okay, so I think I came across it in a different way to like other people in that I hadn't actually read the books first. So, oh, I think one of your questions was like, do you usually read
Before
before
I
you
watch,
watch?
yeah, yeah,
And often I do. Like mostly if it's something that I like I will want to make sure that I've read the book before I have seen the show or the TV or the film, whatever. But with this one, I kind of like just like it wasn't really on my radar. I think because I'm not very sporty and I never thought that sports romance would be for me. I was
yeah.
like,
And how
I
wrong you were.
like yeah, how wrong I was. Like I'm now so in it that I'm actually getting like my algorithm is feeding me actual Canadian hockey content. Like I know who Sydney Crosby is.
I don't know who that is, but I feel like
Well,
I'll make it
count your
there.
blessings because now I'm really in there.
But I am getting the videos of like actual hockey games, and they're like, "Do you
Yeah.
think he's whispering his room number and his?"
Yeah, like when are they gonna kiss?
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically I had never kind of gone near a sports romance book because I just thought that they weren't for me. Like I do love romance, but I just was like, I don't know how into it I can get. And then I'd seen some stuff online about Heated Rivalry, like Evan Ross Katz, that Instagram guy,
Yeah.
like I'd seen him post about it. And I was like, that looks kind of good, but it passed me by. And I was like, I need to watch something else instead. And then my friend texted me being like, have you heard of this show? And I was like, I have, but I haven't got around to it. And she was like, you need to watch it. She was like, this is for you. I was like, okay. So I had like a weekend to myself and I put it on and I put it on thinking it was going to be a show that I could like kind of double screen to. I was like, oh, I'll like watch this show whilst I like, do some admin or like scroll on my phone realistically. And it'll just be like something I want to have on in the background. And I was hooked. Like from the get-go, I was like, well, my phone is not being touched the
Laptop got
entire
dashed out
time.
the window.
Yeah, literally, get that out the way. Yeah, I just was like, I think also because the first episode is like 3 seconds later, 4 weeks later, 2 years
Yes.
later. Like you really have to pay attention to
Yeah.
what's going on, otherwise you will miss it. And then there are all
Yeah.
these like bits in Russian that you're like, okay, well, if I'm not looking at the screen, I literally don't know what that character is saying. So I was very hooked immediately. And yeah, I think I either watched it all in one night or I watched the one episode and then I watched the rest of it on another night. So
Yeah.
yeah, I fell hard and fast for the
Felt
show.
hard. And I get it. I get
Hmm.
it. I would say that
Mm.
the timelines are important, but they're not
Yes,
as important as you think they
I
are.
agree.
Like
Yeah.
I was like making notes
Yeah.
every time when I was reading it and when I was watching it, I was like making notes of like
Yeah.
the dates
Okay,
and
so
this is
that's
where they
them.
are. Like, yeah, literally
Yeah.
like post-it
Yeah.
notes across the walls. Like, I'm with you guys. But it's all you need to know is that it basically time jumps because this
Yes.
this sort of secret thing they've got going on, it lasts for so long. It's like a
Yeah.
decade long. So
Yes.
that's the only thing you really need to grasp is that this is over many years
Yeah.
and that, it's jumping forward essentially. But I think in the book, I was thrown because the prologue is like 2016 and then it
Yeah.
jumps back to like when they
Yeah.
first met and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Like,
what's going
whoa.
on? Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
going on?
Like, oh, okay. So we've just like lost a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I was so confused when that happened, and I was like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
really need to keep track of this. But
Yeah.
actually, you don't. So obviously, in the book,
Mm.
the prologue is October 2016. It's where we
Yes.
see a glimpse of their rivalry on the ice,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have sex afterwards, and it's great.
Yeah, and you go
Whereas
straight into it.
we go straight in, and in the series, the first thing we see is them meeting outside for a smoke.
Yeah.
You know, Ilya's having a cigarette. Shane comes out. He's like, "Hi." In fact, the first word is literally
Ilya
Ilya
Rozanov.
Rusnov,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Shane Hollander." So you're like, "Hey, I'm in."
Like, right, here we are.
Yeah, yeah.
These are our guys.
And there you can really see this sort of dynamic begin between them,
Mm.
where it's like
Mm-hmm.
Shane feels on the back foot of like,
Yeah.
what is this guy's deal? And then
Mm-hmm.
he goes back to his parents and like says he's a bit of a dick. I think he says
Yeah.
he's a bit of a dick in the book. I can't remember if he actually says it in the series. If he says, I feel
I
like he
think
just mentioned to his mum, but his mum thinks he's a dick anyway.
yeah, his mum says it, I think, but I think he says it to Scott Hunter. I think he says that he's a dick to Scott Hunter.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of side characters in the book that have been
Mm.
channeled into Scott Hunter in
I
the
agree. Yeah.
series.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you did not have the budget for all of those extras.
Oh my God, I found out.
Scott is everything to everyone.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I don't know how true this is, but
Mm.
I heard on another podcast that the budget was so tight for this
Mm-hmm.
that there was like certain scenes where they couldn't afford like background
Oh
actors.
yeah.
So like there's one airport
Jacob
scene
and
where it's
Brendan.
yeah, that Jacob plays like the director in the commercial ad,
Yes.
the filming of that,
Yeah.
and apparently in one of the airport scenes, Shane's Hudson sat with his back to. And do you know what? In episode 5, when
Yeah.
Scott Hunter wins and they all
Mhm.
come onto the ice, I saw a girl come onto the ice and I was like, isn't that Elena? But she's just been up in the thing, so
Oh my
why is
God,
she
stop.
down there? And it must have been because
It
they
must
couldn't
have been.
afford
Yeah.
side
Well, it's like
background
they
characters.
couldn't afford to have child actors either. So they
Oh my
like, you know, the
God.
scene where we're really jumping around here, but
We
the
are.
scene where Shane and Hayden are in the aquarium and
Yes.
like they're like, Ruby, come back here. And like you just never see
I didn't even
Ruby.
clock that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very well done. Like
Yes.
they really they kind of they do the illusion of like having a lot more money than they actually do. But then once you realize that they have a low budget, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that it actually all you can see it eventually.
Yes. Okay, so we've established that this is low budget, but it doesn't
Yes.
feel low budget.
It doesn't feel low budget.
It
No.
feels like it is of the highest quality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is going to be one of my favorite series that I've watched ever.
Mhm. Oh yeah, me too, for sure.
But what I wanted to ask in terms
Yes.
of their introduction,
Mm.
did your opinions of these characters change from when we first meet them?
Yes, definitely. I think when I first so I watched the TV show first, and then I should note that I then went and read like every single Rachel Reed book that she has ever written.
Oh
So
my
I read
God.
Heated Rivalry, then I read The Long Game, and I was like, oh, that'll be enough for me. And then it was not enough for me, and I read every other book in the Game Changer series and her 2 standalone hockey romances.
Stop. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so I've kind of really gone quite deep in the world. So I now feel like I know these characters, like Shane and Ilya in particular, so well. But obviously when you first meet them, I was like, oh, Shane's so sweet. Like the way that his hat was pulled down so far over his head, I was like, you do not care about looking good. Whereas Ilya's there, like he looks so suave and cool,
Yeah.
and like, you know, obviously he's like smoking a cigarette, which is just he's such a bad boy compared to like goody two shoes little Shane.
Yeah.
But I would say that over the course of it, like definitely, obviously you see that like Shane's a little freak.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, like he matches Ilya's energy really well in a way that at first I was like, I don't know how you're gonna meet each other in the middle because
Yeah.
you're so different. But yeah, definitely my view changed as it went on because I was like, okay, well, you know, we just learned so much more about both of them. And I kind of thought that when I first started watching it, I was like, oh, Ilya seems really kind of standoffish and kind of rude. But then you kind of see the way that he does, like both of them do so much in their physicality, I think, as
Yeah.
actors, that because the script is quite sparse, really. Like there's not that much in there kind of dialogue wise, I guess, because like they can't communicate with each other.
Yeah, I was about to ask how have you accessed the script, but you're just talking about the.
Oh no, I'm just talking about like what the words that we see them say to
I
each
wouldn't
other.
put it past you to have accessed that.
Oh no, me neither. Like I think they are releasing.
They are,
They
yeah.
must be doing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll probably buy it. Let's be real. Given I bought everything else, but yeah. So it definitely changed because I think they, you know, you see them soften. Well, I felt like I saw them soften so much over the course of even just one episode. So it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. They do soften, and you see, like, I feel like the first sort of glimpse of that softness for me
Mm.
was the rooftop
Yes.
scene
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
they have that's in the first episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they have this like argument because
Hmm.
Shane's won Rookie of the Year and
Yeah.
Ilya's gone, he's gone off somewhere, he's not
Yeah.
watched, and Shane's
Yeah.
annoyed and he's like, if you won, I would celebrate you. And
Yeah.
they have it out on the rooftop, and then Ilya kisses him,
Yeah.
and Shane's like, what are you doing? Somebody could see. And then when he sort of storms off, you
Mm.
really, the camera like focuses on Ilya's face, and he's like,
Hmm.
Hollander like shouting him, and then he
Yeah.
just looks so sad left up on
He
the rooftop.
does. He does. And I feel like that scene actually is quite important in that it sets up their dynamic. You
Yeah.
know, like I think I was talking, my friend was saying the other day that like one of them is emotionally repressed and the other one is like sexually repressed. And that kind of like, so I
Yes.
think, yeah, Shane's quite sexually repressed. Like it
Yeah.
is very like sexually loose and all that sort of stuff. But also when it comes down to it, you know, eventually Ilya's like, I just want to, I'm all in. Like when he's in, he's all in. And Shane is always still quite like a little bit on the fence and that sort of stuff. And I think that scene, because obviously it's Shane who walks away and Shane's like, you know, someone will see. And Ilya's like, no one's going to care. Or like, no, they won't,
Yeah.
they're not here. I think it's quite like, obviously we see that again later in episode 4 with like the tuna melt and how he
Tune
runs away
out.
again. Yeah.
Don't. We will come on to that at
Yeah.
episode 4. But then we have episode 2 where
Mm.
they present an award together, don't they?
Yeah.
And at this point, they've not seen each other. Right. I think I'm jumping about here. I think in episode 2, they have sex? Do they have sex after the ceremony? Is the
So
ceremony the first thing?
no, the first thing is I can't remember what the first. Oh no, they're texting for a lot of that episode. So
Yes.
they're
So that
texting
is
and then they sleep together like properly for the first time.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
yes.
then
So
they
they
have
have
the
this
Olympics.
gorgeous, like, this is
Mm,
really like tender moment, and then they have the
yeah,
Olympics. They don't really speak at the Olympics because they're
yeah,
in Russia,
yeah,
and Ilya's like, "Don't come near me."
yeah. And Shane,
And
for some reason, doesn't get that.
yeah,
He's like, "Fuck you," and I'm like, "No, Shane, this is for your benefit as
yeah,
well."
literally, this is not safe.
Oh, sweet
Um,
baby Shane, he's so naive.
I know, I know. And then they have the award ceremony, and then they present that together. But at this point, they've not spoken for 6 months. And I
Yes.
just want to say, like, they are stronger than I ever could be, because
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
after that first time they have sex,
yeah.
how are you waiting 6 months to
I
speak to
know.
each other?
I know. Because that was so tender. Like,
So tender.
so
Like, I'm
tender.
in love at
So,
this point.
oh, absolutely. Like, head over heels. Like, get me to the courthouse. Let's get married. Like, it's so tender. They are, like, Ilya is so soft and gentle with Shane.
Yeah.
And, like, they have so much eye contact. And that's
Yeah.
different from the book. In the book, I don't think they ever, like, have sex looking at each other
They
until the tuna
don't
melt bit.
know. Yeah, they
So
talk
it's
about.
always like a lot more kind of purely physical. And Shane is even able to, I think he has a line in the book where he's like, "Oh, this way I'm able to pretend it's anyone other than Ilya Rozanov, or at least
Yes.
pretend to myself that I'm pretending it's anyone other than Ilya Rozanov."
Yes. Yeah.
So that is like a key difference, I think, between the book and the show, which is that like the show kind of does have them as like all in from the start,
Yeah.
just kind of lying to themselves about it. But yeah, the award scene, then yeah, then they have that bit in the bathroom afterwards
They
where
do.
it's like so much emotion is exchanged between them both. Again, with so few words.
They have the most unbelievable chemistry of
Yeah,
like any two actors, and I cannot get over the fact that they had their chemistry read via Zoom.
I know.
Like,
That is
how do you
crazy.
establish that
Can you
chemistry on
imagine being on that Zoom call? I would be like, I actually need to leave.
Just gonna leave you
Like
guys to
I'm
it.
intruding on something here.
But they said that I listened to Conor Storrie on an interview, and he
Mm,
said that basically the like Jacob and whoever else was on that call just
mm,
like hid themselves. So it
yeah.
was just like us two now, like just the two of them on the screen. And he
This is
said that
our Heated Rivalry season 2 audition.
come on, Han, we can do this.
Yeah, we can do it. We've got it in
We
the
can
bag.
do this. But it was just them on the screen, and he said that they were just looking at each other for a few seconds before they
Mm,
started reading. And I
wow.
thought you must have known in those few seconds before they
Yeah.
even started talking that
Yeah.
there's something there.
Literally the dollar signs going like ding ding ding
Yeah,
ding ding.
literally, literally. And then like Connor's story like describes Hudson Williams as like his
I
soulmate, and
know.
I
It's
can't.
so
I
cute.
actually
It's so
can't.
cute.
Also, in terms of casting, we
Yeah.
are going to jump around a lot, listeners. I'm really sorry, but you're going
Yeah.
to have to deal with
I
it.
kind of hope that if you are listening to this podcast, you're probably where we are in that you have watched this show, you kind of love it, and you just want to get into the meat of it, hopefully.
Yes. And you feel very feral about it, and your brain
Yeah.
can't give you a coherent thought because
Yeah.
there's so much going on.
Yeah.
The casting is so dead on. Like,
It's so good.
like
It's so
Hudson
good.
Williams looks exactly how Shane is described in the book.
Yeah. And I think the thing is with Hudson Williams and how he plays Shane is,
Yeah.
so when the first time I watched it, I was like, Connor was the one that immediately grabbed me, because I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's so, like, it's such a kind of big performance.
Yeah.
And, you know, he kind of, his character is obviously just like so much more dominating than Shane's is. And the way that he performs it, obviously he's, you know, he can speak Russian. That's really impressive. Like,
Yeah.
he has quite a lot of like shouty scenes as well. So like, you kind of he gets to like flex in that way.
Yeah.
And Hudson's performance is so much quieter.
Yes.
That at first I was like, oh, I didn't notice it as much. But then, then you watch interviews with the two of them and you're like, oh, he is so different.
Yes.
He's
like, so different in real
who
life.
he is as a person is so different to this character. And then you see the way that he holds himself and the way that he moves his eyes, and like even like the way that he laughs and stuff it's so Shane. Like, everything about it is like he has just got the character down so well that I was like, I can't imagine anyone else playing this role, and especially having read the book.
He feels so tense at all
He's
times.
so tense at all
like his
times.
body, like there's very little movement.
Yeah.
He's really like restricted himself.
He's so packed in, and like,
yes.
even the way like he puts his thumbs in his pockets when he stands, because he's just like so compact all the time. And I think it's like an incredible performance. And that scene that we were talking about when they're in the bathroom and like after they've hosted the awards, and you see like a million different emotions pass over his face in the space of honestly like 15 seconds, and I think that is so cool. And imagine like to be an actor and to know that you can turn that on and turn that off, I think is amazing.
I rewatched episode 4 yesterday. I think it's episode 4 when they have the tuna melts and then they have sex, and it's the first time they say each other's first name during the act. And it's almost
during the act.
and it sounds like they're just saying first names, but what we're hearing is that they know that these feelings are strong, and it's love, you know.
It's love.
And
is love.
Them just saying the first names, it is like an exchange of I love you. Like it feels like that.
Yeah.
It has
it's like a prayer. Like it's so intense.
That's his name, like a prayer. I can't.
You can tell she's been reading some romance.
but they have that moment, and then watching Hudson Williams' face when they finish and they've said each other's names, and the way he just, in fact, watching both of their faces at that moment when Shane immediately gets up and he starts putting his clothes on, and he's so like panicked by like that realization of like this can't be happening, and it feels like Ilya's just kind of accepted it at this point. He's like, I feel like I'm in. Like,
he is like he's gone all in, and he's been met there, and he's so excited. Like, because he has that look of like pure like ecstasy on his face. When Shane says Ilya, and then you can see the cogs kind of turning and him being like, oh no, I didn't mean it. It's just,
and when he's like, I think there's it happens twice in the series, when he says Hollander on the rooftop, and when he says Hollander as Shane leaves his apartment, and both times like killed me. I need to wipe my nose. I'm so sorry.
Knife through the heart for real. Yeah, so we need to go back. Sorry,
No, we are going to jump around. It's going to happen. But when they obviously first meet and they have Ilya smoking outside, and between that and their first sort of big moment, we have lots of them sort of like secretly watching each other practice, lots of noticing each other. But the real first moment of something between them is the gym scene. That
was when I knew. I was like, oh, this is going to take over my life.
So fair. But the difference in, and I don't know why, when I first watched episode 1, the difference really bugged me, because I felt like the gym scene in the book when they're on the treadmills, I was like, that feels so much hotter. But then actually when I rewatched episode 1, I was like, no, it's not. You're being petty. Like, just because they've used a bike instead of a treadmill doesn't change anything, Hannah.
That is so fangirl to be like, this very important detail, and they didn't do it, and now I'm mad.
So, but I don't understand. I'm really curious why they used a bike instead of a treadmill. I don't know if it's too dangerous to be on the treadmill, or like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
health and safety on set, guys.
Do that Peloton advert, and he was on a treadmill on that. So probably fine. Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe it's like, no, I was going to say maybe
It's
it's 'cause
really
they were
not
riding,
important.
but
I'm just keeping it. But the gym scene is so hot.
yeah.
That moment when they're just looking at each other.
And Ilya says more when he like mouths the word more when Shane is drinking the water bottle. I was like, oh my God, that is so fit. Whoa. I
Yeah,
didn't know it was going to be that kind of show because that was
yeah,
I kind of I think this is also the thing. We are so used to seeing sex on, we were just talking earlier about Tell Me Lies, and
yeah,
we're so used to seeing sex on screen that is like ostensibly hot, but
yeah,
often is like either very choreographed or, I mean, this is also very choreographed, but it's very like slick and set to a certain type of music. And like it doesn't really, there's not often the same, like a load of chemistry. Or
yeah,
like with Tell Me Lies, it's all quite like dark and like scary. Like,
yeah,
I would say
yeah.
none of the sex that happens in that show is necessarily stuff that you want to emulate. Like in terms of it doesn't feel very happy. I can't, and also a lot of the sex that we see is all quite like PG in a way. Like we're in quite like a
Yeah.
conservative era for sex on screen. I assume that that's what we were going to get here. But even just that one scene in the gym where it's like their sexual dynamic is established so clearly just by the two of them
Yes.
sitting there and one of them making the other one drink some water. I was like, oh, I see. Like we're going there, and then we really do go there. Like it's so, I mean, it's not necessarily more explicit than any other sex, but I think because because the chemistry is so strong that it feels a lot
Yeah.
more intimate than a lot of other
It's
stuff
the
that we see.
chemistry and it's
Yeah.
also the intimacy. Like that kind of eye contact is
Yeah.
so intimate.
It's so
Like
intimate.
I'd be like, we are married at this point. Like
Yeah, literally.
we
And it's so funny
can't
because
look each
there
other
they are
like
like
that and
pretending
not.
that they don't mean anything to each other. And I'm like, you two are literally married
Yeah,
from this
soulmates.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
full on
yeah.
soulmates.
Because
And
they
that's so
then
sweet.
they have this moment in the gym
Mm,
and then they have the commercial.
mm,
And it's important to note that
mm.
whatever you originally think of Ilya Rozanov of being this very standoffish kind of guy and that
Yes.
he's keeping Shane on the back foot and he's, you think you've got an idea of him, but when he says, which isn't in the book by the way,
Mm,
when he asks Shane, when did you hear about the commercial? And Shane's like, a couple
yeah.
of days ago. And he says, when did you hear about it? And he says, it was my idea. I
Yeah.
don't think that was in the book where it
I don't
was
think it
Ilya's
was.
idea to
Yeah.
have Shane. So
Yeah.
I'm like, he's
Yeah.
really encouraging this to happen.
Oh, he really is.
He
Yeah.
is. And then they have the showers.
Yeah. The
They go into
showers.
the showers. Now, I'm going to say,
Mm.
respectfully, I would like my ass to look as good as Connor Story's ass
Oh,
in
wouldn't
that.
we all? Like my jaw dropped. I was like, I need to do a squat like now.
I'm holding this squat for the entirety of this
Literally, like
six-part
I'm just gonna
series.
squat. That's it.
So that moment, again, eye contact in the showers.
Yeah.
Ilya initiates
Yes.
and is looking at Shane and going, come on, join
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And Shane's like, like not here. And then
Yeah.
they come out, Ilya's in his towel, and Shane's like, let's forget this ever happened.
Yeah.
We're
And
not
the
doing
thing is, I
this.
think Shane kind of does believe he's trying to make himself believe that he can forget that it ever happened.
Yeah,
And Ilya just won't let him, which I think is such a like through line for their whole relationship, right? It's like
yeah.
Ilya's always kind of coaxing Shane slightly out of his shell and like bringing him closer to who he actually is. And Shane kind of tries to resist, but he just can't resist.
But Ilya sees him. Like he
Yeah.
sees him because when he says, like, we should forget about this, and he's like, Ilya says, is that what you want?
Mm.
And he's like, yeah, of course. And he goes,
Yeah.
you're a bad liar.
Yeah.
And he
And
sees
it's
it
true.
straight away. And then
He
they
is
have
a
that,
bad liar.
oh God. And they have that moment where he's like, what's your room number or something? And then
Yeah.
he's like, if I come there at 9 p.m. And then he
Hmm.
says, I might open. And he says, I might not.
Ah!
That is direct from the book,
It is
guys.
direct from the book. So much of the dialogue in this show is actually direct from the book.
It's a
Like
really faithful
it's
adaptation.
very faithful, and I
Yeah.
really like that because again, I watched it not having read the book, and then it was so fun to then go back and read the book and be like, oh, it felt like kind of having like Sparks notes to the show, like because I was like, oh, so basically the dialogue is exactly as it was, and now I just get their extra internal monologue as well. Like this is fantastic. Like
Yes.
it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Hmm.
Now, I think it's become apparent like sex is key to this story.
Absolutely.
And they have sex literally 17 minutes into the first episode.
Yeah,
It's
wasting no
within the
time.
first couple of pages of the
Hmm.
book. But I think you made it very clear they
Mm.
explore sex in such a wonderful way. It's
Yeah.
really sexy, really hot, but it's also consensual and it's
Yes.
pleasurable for both
Yes.
parties.
Yeah.
And I think so often we see sex scenes where it's like, will the man get his way with this
Yes.
woman? Or it's
Yeah.
like the woman is getting pleasure from the smallest thing and it's just
Yeah.
not realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas this was like, they're both giving and receiving pleasure. They're both enjoying it. Like
Hmm.
it's consensual. The
Yeah.
first time they have penetrative sex, it's
Yeah.
like tender and there's care there. And
Yeah.
Ilya really takes care of Shane in that moment.
Yeah.
It's
And
beautifully done.
it's so well done. And again, it's just, I think that the first time I watched it, I was like, this feels really new to me in a way that I just haven't seen sex done on screen in this way before. Where again, it's like the checking in on for the consent happens regularly
Yeah.
and in a way that does not detract from the hotness of the moment. You know,
Yes.
Ilya will just be like, is this okay? Like, do you still want? And it's just like, wow, it can really be that simple.
It's really that
It
simple,
really is that
guys.
simple. Did you know?
But
It's not that hard.
it's really not that hard.
Yeah, but I think, you know, the sex is so important. It's like the only way that these two people can communicate with each other, right? And
Yeah.
like each scene, I think Jacob Tierney said that like each sex scene is done in a slightly different way and it reveals more about themselves to each other in a different way each time, and you really feel that as you're watching it.
Yeah.
You're like, and I think that is slightly different from the book as well, because I think the book feels every time is different and it's hot, but I wouldn't necessarily say that each, because often they come in the book, they come away from each sexual experience being like, that has to be the last time, like that's it,
Yeah.
like I'm done. Whereas in the show, each time they probably do think that, but like it's so clear that their connection is deepening every single time that it
Yeah.
happens, and it's just really, yeah, it's so beautiful. Like the way that the sex is done in the show, I think is like, I hope that the powers that be in Hollywood or whatever like take note and are like, okay, yeah, this is how we can actually show this as something that is like important for the characters, important for the plot, respectful of both the characters and the audience. And I think that's the main thing for me. I was like, I'm not watching this feeling, again, like we were talking about earlier with Wuthering Heights, like I don't feel like I'm being spoon-fed their desire for each other. Like I believe it and it feels
Yeah.
credible and it feels real, and I just think it's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. They had an intimacy coordinator on the show, which
Yes.
she's called Charla Hunter, and I read an interview that she did with Elle, and
Mm,
the level of like thought and detail and care that
yeah.
went into these scenes, like I feel like
Yeah.
you can really, really see it. And I was listening to Jacob Tierney on the Spare Parts podcast, which was a great listen.
Mm,
But he says on Heated Rivalry, you're just watching two people fuck. You're not
mm.
wondering, oh, will he get his way? As you often see
Yes.
in power dynamics and sex on screen. And like you
Yes.
said, these characters, they are just getting to know each other, but they're also getting to know themselves.
Mm,
And they're really learning about themselves. And like you said, Shane is a very like sexually repressed character.
mm. Yeah,
He
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
know what he wants, and he sort of learns the things that he likes and the things that he wants. He's never sort of entertained certain things, you know. He
Yeah.
like almost embarrassed, like there's so much shame that he's carrying.
Yeah. And Ilya just
Even
like breezes through it and it's like that's really beautiful.
yeah, really, really
Mm,
beautiful. I also found it really interesting because there's been a lot of commentary on why a lot of straight women
mm,
love this show or like
mm-hmm.
love these books.
Yeah.
And I do think it is the level of intimacy that's being shown and that like
Yeah.
it's two men doing that because I don't
Yeah.
think we often see men being intimate in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I think that the kind of discourse around why straight women like the show, a lot of it kind of ignores the fact that queer women also like the show and queer
Yeah,
women
yeah.
also like these books. And I think that yeah, you're right. Like there is this kind of like huge lack of men showing emotional intimacy or sexual intimacy or like sexual vulnerability in media at the minute
Yeah.
anyway. But also like I listened to, have you heard of the podcast Tonsil Hockey?
Yes, you
It's
told me about it. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So they said one of them was like, look, ultimately straight women like it because straight women like men. And what's hotter than one man, two men?
So
And
true.
I was like, you know what? Fair.
Fair.
Like you can just boil it down to that. Like we don't need to
Yeah.
go that deep on it. But I do think that you're like so much of it is, it's also like nice because the women in the show are really well done. Like, and when
Yes.
you know, when Svetlana was first introduced, or when Rose was first introduced, I was like, oh no. I had this kind of like knot in my stomach because I thought that they were going to be like be painted as the bad guys or something. And it was
Yeah.
really interesting that that was immediately where my brain went. In the same way that I immediately thought these guys are going to have a bad ending because we're so used to seeing queer people on TV like having to die or like not being together or like,
Yeah.
you know, like something bad happens to them. And I kind of assumed that in this story, the woman would do something to fuck it all up for these guys,
Yeah.
basically. And actually, they didn't. And they were all just so supportive. And like, they felt like the women that I actually know in real life, you know,
Yeah.
like the actual, like, genuine love and care.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why women like it, is just because it feels like a nice world to inhabit.
Fully. But also on that podcast, they said that, so this is a quote, as a culture, there is so little interest taken in what pleases women, what interests women, sexually especially. And I think
Yeah,
that's so true.
it's so true.
But also just what you were saying in terms of like queer stories,
Mm,
Charlotte Hunter said in that Elle interview that this show positioned like queer sex, queer joy, queer pleasure at
hmm.
the very forefront. Like it was a very
Yeah,
important thing, and it's so sad that what we mostly absorb in culture is,
yeah.
you know, sad,
Yes.
like queer sadness and like
Yeah.
trauma, and like
But it's
it's
like you think about like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which I know tonally very different, but like that is like one of the great gay stories of our recent times, right? But really, it's so depressing. It's so depressing. And like these poor women just have to go about the rest of, and also it's like it's always set in the past. Well, when it's women, it's always set in the past. And it's like,
yeah,
no, it's really nice to have something that is like set in the here and now and about grown-ups. And like they get to have like their happiness is just like the driving force of the story, really.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's really nice.
You're
Yeah.
so right. You're so right. I'm trying to think like surely there's got to be something I've watched because even like it's a sin. Like
Yeah. Oh my God.
it's
I mean,
I
an
don't think I
incredible
stopped crying
show,
for
but
days. Oh my God, it's incredible. And they
yeah.
they have these moments of like them partying and them having so much
Yeah.
fun together, but ultimately it's like one
Yeah.
of the saddest fucking things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I think I actually felt like a hollow husk when I finished that show because I was
fair.
crying so much. I think I
Yeah.
like probably nearly hyperventilated. It's like it's so intense.
It's
But
so
yeah.
intense. Yeah.
And obviously like it's kind of it works within the confines of its genre obviously because it is romance at the end of the day, but it was just really it felt so nice and refreshing to see something like that. Just, you know, you could get you could let go of the like pit in your stomach basically because you knew
Yeah.
that actually it was going to be fine.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
really want to come to the women of this series
Mm,
because I feel like they all need their moment.
yes.
So we have Rose Landry,
Yes,
who is
Queen.
Shane's actor girlfriend.
Hmm.
They meet in a bar, they hit it
Hmm.
off. It's like in the book, he has a girlfriend very early on, and then when this whole
Yes.
thing with Ilya starts, he like cuts it off with this girl.
Yeah.
But in the series, we don't see that. We just
No.
see that Rose is the first person, the first woman that he feels that he's had actual chemistry with.
Yeah.
And she is just a gorgeous,
Oh,
gorgeous
she's
human
iconic.
being.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about
Hmm.
their trajectory?
Yeah. So I really, I mean, obviously, as soon as he met her, so again, I went in blind because I hadn't read the books. As soon as he met her, I was like, no, because
Yes,
like the tuna melt scene had just happened. Shane has just
yes,
run away from Ilya. Ilya has literally set this whole thing up because he was like, oh, do you like girls? And then the next scene is Shane meeting a girl. And I was like, oh, Shane, I know what you're going to try and do here. And I
yeah,
know it's not going to work for you, but you're, bless you, you're going to try. But she's amazing. And like,
amazing.
she's funny, she's like obviously very beautiful, she talks to him like a human being, and like I think because you see how he is with other people and he again is so tightly wound, and she kind of just coaxes himself out of him like in a similar way to how Ilya does, I think, but he's obviously just more relaxed around Rose because he doesn't actually fancy her. So he's like not really trying to, you know, navigate the sexual dynamics in the same way as he is with Ilya. But what I think is in the book, when after he first meets Rose, Shane has this line where he is like, oh, he was laughing to himself because he finally found a woman that he likes, and it's this like international superstar. Obviously he just really has really high standards. And I was like, that is so funny. Like, fair enough.
Yeah,
But they have this like quite sweet, I'm imagining very chaste courtship, right? Because, you know, they obviously kiss a couple of times, but I don't think they sleep together very much. And
No.
I think it's like they sleep together probably twice. And
Yeah.
obviously we see
He says
the
both
second
times it was a
time.
disaster.
Both times it was a disaster. And like poor Shane looks like actually tortured in that whole thing. And again, poor Rose is just like, it's fine, don't worry. But she obviously is such an important figure in his life because, first of all, it's probably his first ever friend outside of hockey. And it's like his first ever friend who like knows other gay people and
Yeah.
knows like exists in a world beyond this like quite toxic, patriarchal, homophobic like bubble that he lives in.
Yeah.
And she kind of shows him a totally other way of being, a kind of route to self-acceptance, even before they have the kind of conversation where she's like, so for listeners who haven't seen it, like, or need reminding, she kind of guesses that he's gay and
Yeah.
is like, you know, have you ever been with another man? And like she handles it so beautifully and so with such care. And again, Hudson's acting in that scene is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. He does so much with his eyes that I think
Yeah.
is like just amazing. I cried watching it. But even the fact that, you know, she has gay friends and she talks about like knowing gay actors and like, I don't know, I think you can see sort of the cogs turning for him. And it's like he initially meets it with like quite a lot of panic and then sort of relaxes into it. And then from that moment on, like after they had the big conversation, Shane is so much more confident and he's so much more kind of at ease in his body. And
Yeah.
like he is then able to make a move on Ilya in a way that previously it's always been Ilya making the first move. And
Yeah.
then they see each other again and Shane's able to actually be like, oh, hey, I want to let loose this weekend. And what's your room number? And like all of this stuff. And so Rose is so key for him
Yeah.
because like without her, we would never have the cottage. Like
We
we literally,
wouldn't
they would
have.
never have, we wouldn't have the cottage. They wouldn't go if it wasn't for Rose
Rose is an
Landry.
ally. Capital
She
A.
is an ally, literally capital A ally.
She
She
actually is.
is.
She is.
No, she is.
She's amazing.
She's
I'm
amazing.
so obsessed with her. How she navigates it's
Yeah.
not even a breakup because they are in love just in a
Yeah.
different way. Like
They
they
are. And
love each other
it's
so much.
they do. It's so beautiful. And I love when you see them on the phone in like a later episode and
Yeah.
she's just like funny and witty and like you really believe their friendship, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels really right. And you know, I want in a parallel universe or maybe in this universe, I want to see Rose Landry fall in love because she's so great
I
and
hope
she
she's
deserves
back
the
for
world.
season 2. I would like to
Oh, I
see
hope
that.
she is as well.
I would
I mean,
love
the
to see
actress is
her.
also in Yellow Jackets, which I don't know if you've seen
Yeah,
that, but I
I've
love
seen
that
Yellow
show.
Jackets. Seen Yellow
And
Jackets.
also her range because she plays the worst character on that show.
Yeah. She is
And here she's
evil in
like
Yellow
she's
Jackets.
evil in Yellow Jackets in a way that I'm obsessed with. And yet she is so like sweet and kind and pure of
Yeah.
heart in this show.
She's
It's props to
amazing.
her.
I think also, so we have Svetlana as well, which you
Hmm.
mentioned.
Yeah.
I think I appreciated her more in the adaptation than I did in the book.
Yeah,
In
well,
the
they
book.
change her quite a lot
Yeah.
from the book to the show. And I would be really interested to find out why they did that. I wonder
Yeah.
whether it's just because they didn't know whether they were going to get a season two. And so they needed to give Ilya a friend
Yeah.
now. Because it becomes quite I don't know if you've read The Long Game, but
I've not read it yet, no.
so in The Long Game, because obviously in the books, Svetlana's just kind of like a random girl that Ilya sleeps with
Yeah,
every
yeah,
now
yeah.
and then. They don't have the same backstory that they do in the show. And in The Long Game, eventually Ilya, like, you know, hasn't really come out to anybody
Yeah.
and he's feeling like suffocated by how kind of difficult their situation is and how nobody really knows him, knows the real him. And he decides like sort of randomly that he's going to call up Svetlana because he always had a good time with her and that like she's somebody that he could tell about his sexuality. And it feels, I'm going to say a little out the blue because you don't have that same, because she's only really introduced like halfway through Heated Rivalry in
Yeah.
the book and she's not really like the same prominent figure.
Yeah.
But in the show, she's an absolute queen.
She's an
Like
absolute queen.
she
They
is everything to him.
they
Like
don't have the funeral scene in the book,
no.
but I think it's such a great addition in the
Yeah, agreed.
series.
Yeah,
It's
it's so good.
cinema.
Yeah,
That bathroom
it is.
scene,
So much goes down in the bathroom in this show.
so much goes down in the bathroom. But he has this argument with his brother, and his brother all the way through is just constantly ringing him, and we see that in the book as well. He constantly rings him, he's constantly asking for money, he doesn't really care about Ilya at all, except for what he can give to him. The family don't really watch his games, but they keep up with his games in enough to sort of come down hard on him if he loses, and they really shame him for that and tell him that he's like shamed Russia. They're so horrible to him.
They're awful.
And then we have this moment in the bathroom where it's like finally like Ilya can just his dad's died, he just feels able to say everything that he's felt. And when Svetlana walks in and she's like, oh, I thought I heard, she's just something like, I thought I heard singing in here or something like that. And then he basically calls her a whore, and Ilya swings for him. And
fair enough.
Just how Svetlana deals with that, and how like much she supports him. She clearly knows, because she even says in that moment when she leaves him, she says, oh God, I can't remember what the exact word is, but she says he when referring to this Jane.
Yes. She's like, oh, I hope Jane knows how lucky he is.
He
or
is.
Something like that.
Yes. So she's cottoned on. Like Svetlana and Rose are just allies. Like they are. They're just wonderful women.
Yeah, wonderful women. I think Svetlana is such an interesting character in the show. I really love Rachel Reed, and so like this isn't anything to do. It's just the way that she wrote the character, and it's different to the way that Jacob Tierney wrote the character. But she's so interesting because she obviously sees Ilya so plainly, and she has enough like history. She knows all of his trauma, and he has a lot of trauma, and she knows all of that. And she like there's so much that he withholds from her, but she knows it anyway. And I think that is like she's able to be such a good friend to him because he's not very good at. He's very emotionally closed off. He's not very good at needing other people, but she's there for him anyway all the time. And I just think it's gorgeous. Like
it is gorgeous. They're amazing characters. Also, we haven't mentioned Kip's besties, and we need to get into.
Oh my God, I love Kip's besties.
I love them.
I love the one in the shop who's just like girl, like, girl all the time. Yeah, girl.
Girl.
It's like her one line and she kills it.
No, now episode 3 has divided people. Some people didn't like it because it obviously took away from our boys Ilya and Shane.
Yeah.
But I love Kip and Hunter. I love them. And I love that episode. I thought it really worked. Now, obviously, this series is a 6-parter.
Yeah.
But it mainly covers Heated Rivalry. Yeah. Because there's so much of that book that's covered. Now, I've not read the first in the series, which is Game Changers. Yeah. But I believe that they can't have covered everything, surely, from that, or do they?
They didn't cover everything. Like, there were some bits that were kind of like, so they covered the broad strokes of it, I would say, but a lot of the kind of like deeper character stuff. And, like, we saw a lot less of Kip's life in the show than we do in the book, I would say. But yeah, I mean, they cover like the major like notes of it are all hit. Yeah.
It is a beautiful episode.
It's a perfect rom-com.
Oh my God,
perfect.
It is. It is. And when they get brought back in,
oh my God,
I think that might be my favourite moment of the series.
Yeah.
That is cinema, when it's flashing between Shane watching the TV with his parents, Ilya watching the TV with his friends. Yeah. None of the people in those 2 rooms, except for Shane and Ilya, know how life-changing this moment is.
It is.
And the looks on their faces, again, performance. Yeah. It's chef's kiss. Yeah. Watching their faces in that moment, even like Svetlana's like leaving the room and Ilya's just like locked in. Yeah. We're watching Scott Hunter's just won the cup. He's on the ice. He sees all of his teammates, wives and children come onto the ice. And he just has this moment of like, I want to have like my person with me, and he looks up in the crowd, and even the fact that they're not even together and Kip has still come to watch.
I know.
And he brings him down, and it's just like the Shane, Ilya, what's going on with them? And it honest to God,
incredible. Chills.
That moment alone deserves an award.
I agree. Also, the camera work in those moments, like how it's like the camera like swings around in this way that's like it's really dynamic, and it really like
guys, it's giving A24. Like
it's giving A24. Also, I've never picked up a camera in my life. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, the camera work, but you can tell like so much thought has gone into how it's going to land, and it's just so beautiful. I honestly was like, I think when I watched it, I actually felt like standing up. I felt like standing up on my sofa and being like, oh my God, yes, go. It was so gorgeous. gorgeous. And
I saw somebody online that said that is it episode 5 that happens
yeah.
in? Yeah, somebody put episode 5 just received a 45-minute standing ovation in my living room from me.
And yeah, and that was me.
It was you, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was me. No, it's perfect. Like the way the whole, and because that the payoff is so sweet. Because obviously,
Yes.
and again, like obviously, a lot of people do hate on that episode, like because it's a bottle episode and it takes away from our main boys. But I will say that I've rewatched the show a couple of times, obviously, and sometimes I do skip that episode because I'm like, I just need the like Shane and Ilya hit.
Fair, fair.
But you have to have it. Like you have
Yeah.
to watch it in order to get to feel the payoff and like how
Yes.
incredible that moment at the end of episode 5 is, and when Ilya's like, "I'm coming to the cottage."
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
yeah.
Cinema.
Cinema.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I would watch it on a big screen. I would go to the picture house and watch it there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's so
I'll
good.
come. Like, I want
Yeah.
to see this.
Hmm.
The one thing that I will say about episode 3, because I loved episode 3, but
Mm.
when we've like slept together a couple of times, and or
Hmm.
maybe it's even once, and then like Hunter, like Scott says to Kip, I want you, I'm going to say a load of stuff and like just listen.
Yes.
Like, I want you to be here when I come back from practice, and then I want you to be here later when I come back from the game. And he's like, you're not even thinking about, you don't even ask him
No.
if he's got like anything else on today.
No, I know. So that to me, I was like, ew, back off.
Yeah, you're giving me the ick.
You're
Go
giving me
away.
the ick. Like I've got my own life. Yeah, which I think is interesting because so I think that for me, the reason that I like Scott and Kip's storyline slightly less than I like Shane and Elliot is because there is just more of a power imbalance. So what I like
Fair.
about Shane and Elliot is that they are so equal in every way, and
Yes.
like they really can't have like I think there's a line in the book that is like we always thought it was going to be just us on the podium like alone, but now we know we're always going to be there together because they are just the best. And I think that's a really sexy as like a narrative device,
Yeah.
but also it just means that like there's no kind of weirdness about power in terms of the like particular sexual dynamics or like romantic dynamics of their relationship. Whereas for Scott and Kip, obviously there isn't that. And in the book, actually, like that is explored a little bit more in that Scott tries to give Kip a check for like $50,000 when they've known each other for like 3 weeks because he's like, oh, just pay off your student loans.
No.
And Kip's like, no, that's really weird. Like, I don't want that from you.
No.
Like, that's not what I'm trying to get out of this relationship. And obviously, like, Scott just doesn't really think it through because he's like, this is pocket money to me, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But that I think it's just a much harder, for me anyway, I think maybe this just comes from that position of like moving through the world as a woman and like, you know, we experience gender imbalance and like that it comes through in gender imbalance quite a lot. But like, it's harder to see past those things and just get to the romance. Whereas I think because Shane and Ilya, they don't have that power imbalance, it just feels a lot more like, okay, well, I can just swoon here. And
Yes.
like, that's just, I'm here to swoon and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
There's also the great moment with Kip's besties. So we have, it's Elena and Maria, I think, that he
Yes.
works with. And we have lots of moments of them being in the gay bar and he's with all of his friends. And it's like, you know, they're watching when Kip starts seeing Hunter, you know, they're watching him on the screen and they let him watch that. And
Yeah.
they have the whole like, thank you, Kyle, with
Yeah.
their friend that works around the bar. So like he has such a nice community around him, which I think
Yes.
is really nice to see that he's sort of
Yeah.
given that story and he's given
Yeah.
that, like, yeah, he might just be like a normal person around all these
Yeah.
celebrities, but there's so much in his life.
Yeah, you really feel like you've just been dropped into his life. And like
Yeah.
it feels really like, you know, he had a whole world that existed before Scott.
Yes.
And he'll continue to have a whole world that exists
Yes.
after him.
Yes.
And that I think is really nice.
So
Yeah.
beautiful. And especially when he has his birthday and Scott says he
Yeah.
can't come to it and he's looking through the window and you can see him just surrounded by like love, like, and he
Yeah.
always will be.
And he always will be. Yeah.
The moment that is one of my favourites as well is when, is it Elena that says the sunshine moment on the dance
Yeah.
floor?
Oh my God, gorgeous.
Do you want to recite it?
Yeah, yeah. So Elena works at some unknown company. We don't know what it is that she does, but she's clearly some sort of high flyer. And her company has some like gala, and Scott Hunter is also at the gala. I guess he's like guest of honor, giving the keynote speech or something. And Kip goes as Elena's guest, and it's kind of the first time that Scott and Kip have been out in public together. Obviously, they're not together, but like they're able to kind of interact with each other. And Elena meets Scott for the first time, and Elena and Scott are on the dance floor, and she says to him like, oh, you know, know, basically be careful with my friend because he's amazing. He deserves sunshine. But then she says, but you deserve sunshine too. And I think that's so sweet because she, again, can see that Scott has denied himself this for so long.
Yeah.
And I think she plays that part quite well because obviously she's being like the protective friend, but she's not acting like Scott's this like kind of predatory character or anything. She's really like, you know, think about this carefully because you both deserve to be happy.
Yeah.
And are you going to be able to be happy if you're in the dark the whole time? And then obviously the sunshine line comes back around because when Kip comes down onto the ice, the song that plays is something about, it's like Bring Me Sunshine or something. So it's like a whole beautiful, gorgeous circular moment.
Circular moment.
Thank you.
The use of music is gorgeous.
It's so good. It's
all the things she
so
said.
Good.
That club scene.
When that came on, I was like, really? Are we having this? And then it switched into that remix version. I was like, this is cinema.
Cinema. This is cinema.
So good. It's so good.
That and I'll Believe in Anything, Wolf Alice.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just so good. And I think the soundtrack's amazing, but the score is incredible as well. Like the music that was composed for it, because it's so like pacey and like, you know, it's like dark and it's light and it's all amazing. But I love the song that is played over the end credits of the whole show. It's like where it's like do. It's just so cute.
And they're like driving off essentially into the sunset.
Into the sunset. And it's just adorable.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I think the use of music is so good throughout the whole thing.
It is. And I also really liked how they played with music and also the way they played with like fade into black in the sex scene was it in Vegas? That whole sex scene in Vegas, I think is the hottest one for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's unbelievable.
When he drags the chair.
It is shockingly hot.
Shockingly hot.
I was like, I can't believe that they're allowed to put this on TV.
Yeah. It's so hot.
Yeah. And you know, that was the first scene they shot together.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that is insane.
Insanity.
It's like, okay,
again,
here we go.
You've established you've got chemistry.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, okay, you thought you had chemistry? Prove it. Let's go.
Prove it. So you're going to touch yourself in front of him, okay? Is that
Is that okay? All good? We clear?
But that is genuinely like probably more intimate than sex itself.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. The whole thing. Yeah. And again, it just shows the trust that they have between each other as characters, because the fact that Ilya obviously even thinks to ask it, but also knows that Shane would be into it even before Shane thinks he would be into it himself. And in the book, that's done because you see it's Shane's monologue we're from Shane's point of view in that scene in the book. And at first he's like, oh my God, I can't believe he would ask that. I'm so embarrassed. And then immediately he's like, actually, hold on a second. Wait, I'm
actually into this.
I'm actually really into this. Like, keep watching me. I'm going to put on a show for you. And he's just like, I can't, like, Ilya knows him even better than he knows himself already at that point. Yeah. And I think it's so nice.
It's so nice. I also have to mention when they finally actually say, I love you. Oh. So we have the whole Russian monologue, which is incredible, by the way. Like, I was listening I watched a video of the dialect coach on the series, and he apparently only started these lessons a week before they started filming. That's when he signed the contract. Then he was having lessons every single day throughout filming. But his monologue is so good when so again, another beautiful show of intimacy when Shane says to him, like, just speak to me in Russian, get everything off your chest. And he goes on this whole monologue about like how awful everything's been with his family. Like, he just lets everything out, and then he's like, and the hardest part or whatever is that, you know, I'm in love with you, I'm full in love with you, and I don't know what to do about it. And obviously Shane has no idea what he's saying. No idea.
And again, it's like Shane would never even think to try and like invade his privacy in that way, because privacy is such a big thing for Shane, right? Like, he respects that so much from Ilya that he's just like, I'm just giving this to you, like, this is my, like, the only way I can think to support you in this moment is just like let you be free. And he would never even think that he even comes into it. And like, it's just so sweet, and it broke my heart, like, watching Ilya say that. I was like, oh.
And then they finally say I love you.
Oh my God,
that moment made me cry.
Oh, me too.
Because he says it like a couple of times, because he starts crying, doesn't he, when this is at the cottage, isn't it?
Of course.
We're at the cottage, baby.
We've got to the cottage, girls.
We're at the cottage. It's so lovely. Like, you know, they've finally got 2 weeks of pure intimacy and time together, and they can just relax relax and not have to be running in and out of hotel rooms. And they talk about how they can make this work. So I read that Rachel Reed has said that Shane's character is autistic.
Yes.
And I know that Hudson Williams went to his own dad and was like asking, because his dad's autistic, and he was asking him about like the traits and stuff like that. And my boyfriend is autistic, so I like can spot, I feel like I could spot it more than maybe the average viewer.
For sure,
So there's obviously things like him neatly folding his clothes before they have sex. There's moments like that. And when like you have to be explicit in what you're saying to somebody, because when Ilya first tells him to come here, like onto the bed, he just lies next to him and doesn't understand that no, he means he wants to have sex with you. So there's that. And then there's the moment that really reminded me of my boyfriend is them trying to figure out like what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And Shane is just lay wide awake at like in the dark. He needs to think of a solution.
He has to.
He's going to think of a solution.
Yeah, and he will get there, because he's not going to stop until he gets there.
Until he gets there. The solution is important. Yeah. So he wakes him up and he tells him this solution that he's got. And then I think I've got this right. Am I thinking that this is what happens? They have this moment. They talk about what they could potentially do and how they could make this work. And it's then that that Ilya gets emotional.
Yeah,
and they start kissing.
It's because Shane says, and then maybe one day we can later down the line we can really be together. And Ilya's like, is that really what you want to be together?
And you thought this far ahead.
And he was like, yeah, I do. Like, I want it so much that it scares me. And that's when Ilya starts crying. And already at that point, I was like, that's almost enough for me. Like, I don't even need to hear you say that you love each other, because this is so like sweet.
Yeah.
But then
he says it a couple of times in Russian, and then out with it. When he says it, and then there's like that moment and Shane says holy shit, and then he's like, I mean, because he starts like panicking, and then he says I love you too.
It's so sweet. So sweet, and so like exactly everything that you would hope for in telling someone that you love them for the first time.
Yes.
Like, think about like the first time that you ever said those words to somebody, and it's because the thing with those two is obviously, like as they said in that episode, they've only ever been in love with one person, and like the way that they are in love with each other is quite teenage, in the sense that like there's so much still that they don't actually know about each other. Like, they've still got so much to learn, but what they do know, they love wholeheartedly and so like fiercely in quite a like 17-year-old way. And I guess it's because they met when they were 17, and it's just like become, it's just so sweet. And I think it's just it's a perfect moment. And I cried as well. I was like fully just so happy for our boys.
So happy for them. And the cottage is like, everybody loves the cottage. Like, there's merch that's purely based on the cottage.
Yeah.
And there's so many gorgeous moments there. Like the cinematography of like them being there, and like there's a moment where like Ilya's smoking on the rock outside, and Shane brings the little blanket, and they sit huddled with like a drink, and like it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. Like, it's so nice. Beautiful. And then I think because they have sex after that, and one of them says, Shane says, how did we let this happen? And he's like, Ilya says, oh, we were really stupid and immature. And then I think Shane is then like, oh, but this is real, isn't it? And he's like, yes. And it's just so beautiful. And again, also like so hot. Like,
so hot.
It's so hot, and it's quite impressive how they managed to show so many different types of hot sex. It's like there's like hot hate sex, hot like we don't really know each other's sex, hot we are trying to hide our feelings from each other's sex, and now hot pure intimacy, we love each other, we've told each other we love each other, we're fully in. Like, it's amazing. Well done.
The only moment of the cottage is genuinely, the shot looks like something out of a horror movie.
Oh my god, doesn't it?
The back of Shane's dad when he clocks them.
Yeah.
That is a horror movie.
That is a horror movie. Also, I was thinking when they were in that house, I was like, there is a lot of glass here. Like, I was scared. I was like, what the hell is going to happen? Who is going to discover them? And then obviously they do get discovered. And
they get discovered by the dad.
Yeah. But it goes fine.
The parents.
Yes.
I love getting to see the individual dynamics and what the parents' relationship with the child has like, how it's like formed them. I love stuff like that. Like, I'm so fascinated by how you're impacted by the way your parents were, So
course,
obviously we
yeah.
have Shane's parents really supportive
Yeah.
to a fault. Like
Yes.
they're so
Yeah.
obsessed with hockey that he doesn't want to like disappoint them.
Yeah.
But he's so loved and they'll come to every game
Hmm.
and there's that.
Yeah.
We have Ilya, his dad is awful to him. Obviously his mum died. He discovered his mum
Yeah.
when she died, so he's obviously traumatized by that and dealing with that
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
We have Scott's parents have both died in an
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
So he maybe feels like, how does that impact him that he's
Yeah.
sort of left alone in the world? And then we have Kip, who I don't know if I remember reading or seeing anything about his mum.
No.
But his relationship with his dad is so
Oh
beautiful.
my God, I love it so much.
I
I
love
love
his
that
dad.
man.
I love that
I
actor as
love that
well.
man.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, gorgeous. I just love seeing
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
it's affected them all. I don't really
Yeah.
know what else to say.
Well, I think the interesting thing with Shane's parents, and I think this is something that they explore more, or like it's made more explicit in the show than it is in the book. Because I think in the book, Shane's parents are presented as like pure supportive, right? And that's really there's not much room for kind of interpretation or like deeper analysis on that because they just seem like such kind of great present parents, which
Yeah.
they obviously are, and they are in the show as well. But I liked that they kind of leaned more into Una as like a Kris Jenner figure. Like,
Yes. Yeah,
she's like a momager of hockey,
she
and
is.
she is so invested. And I think something that, like in the very first episode when Shane gets drafted to Montreal, and you see Una say the reason that I care so much about what's the team called in the show, the Metros.
Yes.
Yeah, in the books it's the Voyagers. She's like, the reason I love the Metros, being a fan of the Metros is what made me feel like a Canadian. So like so much of hockey is tied up with like her, and therefore Shane's identity as like, like an immigrant, and like finding their own footing in this new country. And well, I mean, not new for Shane, like obviously he was born there, but I think that like tension and like, Shane's need and his like drive for perfectionism can so clearly be tied back to that, and to like
Yeah.
how he just wants to please his mum. And like,
Yeah.
his dad is like quite a funny figure to me. Like he's just so like, oh well, we did kind of think you were gay, and that's it.
Yeah. But their reaction to like
Mm.
finding out is amazing because obviously
Yeah.
his dad just like jets off in his car.
Yeah.
Like he's like, see ya, I'm not dealing with
Bye.
that. And then they come to the house, and
Yeah.
this is just like what made me fall in love with Connor Storrie is like,
Mm.
if I wasn't already in love with him, like I
Yeah.
just think he's so funny.
Yeah,
His
he
range
is.
is just incredible.
Yeah.
Like when Shane's trying to explain himself
Yeah.
at the house of like what's going on, and Ilya's like, Shane's like trying to find a word for like what they are, and Ilya's
Yeah.
like lovers, and he's like, no, like
No,
not that word.
no.
Don't say that. You're making it worse.
It's so funny. Also, yeah, you're right, because the way that he stands there in that scene, like
Yeah.
obviously every other scene we've ever seen of Ilya, he's like got so much bravado, so much like
Yeah.
swagger. He moves in such this like big, like physical way. And then he's standing there behind Shane with his hands in front of his legs, like a like schoolboy who's been told off.
Yeah.
It is so funny.
Somebody used that shot online and put like, Mum, can we have a sleepover?
And in a way, that is what that scene is.
It's so like it's amazing how that plays
Yeah,
out. Like
it's so
they
good.
and I loved it in the book, that
Mm,
moment when he talks about now that they've got Una Hollander on side as an
yeah,
ally,
yeah.
then the world was their oyster essentially. So I thought that was really beautifully done in the book, but like just watching it play out on screen was just, it made me laugh so much.
Shame.
And they're trying to explain like, how long this has been going on, and
Hmm.
then they're like, since before, they're like rookie season, and he's like, no, it was the summer before, and he's like, shut up,
Like,
like
shut up,
why
you're making it
you keep
worse.
making it worse? And then they say like, oh, so you've been in love that whole time, and they're like, no, and then
No.
having to like wait for her to get it.
Honestly, so it's so, and because there's another like a really small moment like that when they leave the cottage, well, not when they leave the cottage, when they leave Shane's parents' house, and his parents are like, "Oh, bye, like we'll be over later, we'll come round," and Shane's like, "Please text beforehand," and Yuna's like, "Why?" And you see David just like leaves her waist to be like, "Come on," like clearly.
Please,
Like, if they've
Jess.
told us one thing about them, it's that they like to have sex.
Yeah,
Let's just like leave
literally.
them alone.
They love it. They love it. And
Yeah.
also when Shane's having a complete meltdown. Now,
Hmm.
I really love in this moment
Mm.
because there's something really beautiful going on. So it's really funny that
Mm.
Shane's having this like complete internal crash
Existential
out.
crisis.
Yes, head in his hands, like,
Yeah.
and he's just putting parmesan on his pasta and just like
Yeah.
wolfing it
Ilya's
down,
like, this is
like.
the best day of my life.
Literally, he's loving this food.
Yeah.
He's really enjoying it. But then we see this gorgeous moment where he's like communicating verbally and physically that like
Mm.
everything's fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like got his
Yeah.
hand on him, like, you're okay. And he's like, your family's here, like your boyfriend's
Hmm.
here, is good. Like,
Hmm. It's all good.
it's all
Also,
good.
that bit is just going back to needing things like as Shane as like a autistic neurodivergent person needing things explicitly said. It's like
Yes.
when he's like, my boyfriend, it's like, babe.
Come on now.
Yes, obviously. He's moving country for you.
Yes.
Obviously, you are exclusive.
But then he's like, I think yes.
Probably, yeah, right?
But
Yeah.
I think the one line that I missed from the book in the
Mm,
adaptation was the conversation between the parents,
yeah.
where I think his mum says, like, God, since like their rookie year, like, how did we not
Mm,
notice? And his dad says, like, looking at them now, I can
yes.
see, like,
Yeah. Looking at them now, I really can believe it. It's so
yes, it's a
cute.
gorgeous line from the book. But I feel
Gorgeous.
like they communicate that in the
They
series just
do.
in a
Yeah.
different way.
In a different way.
In
Yeah.
a different way. Oh my God, I feel like there's so much more
Honestly,
that we
I feel
could
like we could
say.
have like 5 more episodes of just talking about
Just
this.
talking about this. I actually need you to come back for season two. Like,
Oh, I'm there. Don't you
I
worry.
need us to do an episode where, like,
Yeah.
and I'm going to read is it The Long Game
The long
that's
game.
supposed
Yeah.
to be based on season two?
Yeah.
Maybe we can do some, I mean, it's supposedly a hockey romance, but did we learn
Yeah.
anything new about hockey?
No. I know.
Apart from the fact that they're like homophobia is rife in hockey
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like impossible for them to feel,
Yes.
safe that they can come out
The
and
only thing I learned about hockey was that there is something called the playoffs, and that's it. Like that.
and they do
That's it.
the skills competition or
Oh
something where
yes.
they show
Yeah.
off their skills.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, the fact that I've mentioned the hockey, when Shane gets hit and Ilya's
My
being
baby
dragged
doll.
away and
Yeah.
is like, no, let me fucking see if he's okay.
Yeah.
Like, he just
So
wants to see he's all right.
there's a moment, and I know you're going to read the book, so stop me if you don't want me to say this, but like there's something in the long game that kind of calls back to that, which is like, should I say it?
Go on.
Okay, it's not big, but basically they're like watching a clip of it, and Shane sees how Shane's never seen it before. Shane sees how
Oh.
Ilya reacts, and he's like, "How did nobody know about us?" Like he's like, "How could anybody have seen you looking at me like this and not realize what we were to each other?" And it's just, oh,
No!
honestly,
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
it killed me, but I really like that. Because in the book we don't really see Ilya. We don't see it's from Ilya's perspective. We only see it from
Yeah,
Shane's,
yeah,
right, in Heated
yeah,
Rivalry, the book.
yeah.
So I liked how Jacob Tierney clearly like had that in his mind when he filmed that bit, because yeah, you're right. Like you look at Ilya and he's just like absolutely heartbroken. Like
Yeah.
he's so
He's so
scared.
scared,
His
yeah.
heart's in his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when they go to the hospital and
Hmm.
Shane's like clearly like highs a kite on whatever
Yeah.
they've put him on and he's like, yeah.
Ilya.
I forgot to send it to you yesterday, but I saw somebody had a tattoo of that entire exchange in the hospital.
Oh my God. Honestly, me in 6 months if I don't get my act together.
It's gonna happen. Do you know what though? I feel like I'm so feral about this and I have so
Mm.
many thoughts on it and I've been like reading up on it and watching stuff like non-stop. Like it
Yeah.
is an obsession and the
Oh,
more
it
you learn
is.
about it, the more you love it. Like there's no way out of
No,
this. It's just
literally,
constant.
there's no route out. I'm like, well, I guess this is just me until like my friend is Canadian. She lives in Toronto. I was like, Kelly, I think I need to come to Toronto so I can watch a hockey game. And she was like,
Please.
okay, fine if you really want.
Oh my God, you're gonna end up writing your own hockey romance.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I don't think I could ever write a hockey romance, but it did make me feel like I want to write a romance. Like
Oh, I love
I
that.
want to go into this because it's just so sweet and so gorgeous. And
It's
like, I
so
mean, I'm
gorgeous.
not writing a romance right now, but it's something. It's like on the cards for me now. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I would love to do it. Like, why
I
not?
love that.
If I could ever do something that makes somebody else as happy as this has made me,
Yeah.
why not? You know?
Do we have any last thoughts thoughts that we want to fire through? Is there anything we've not spoken about that you want to?
I mean, we have covered a lot.
We've covered so much.
I don't think so. I think the thing that I guess maybe the thing that I'm excited about to see in season 2 is how they show just how different the stakes are for Shane and Ilya compared to the other gay hockey players. Because that's something that when you read the whole of the book series, and I read it out of order because I read Heated Rivalry, and then I read The Long Game, and then I read Role Model, the one with Troy Barrett, who's going to be a big character in the next one. And then I read all of them. I was like, I couldn't get enough. Mainly because Ilya appears in all of them as this like bisexual demon. He like sniffs out every single gay guy. He's like, you're gay.
Stop.
It's so funny. But anyway, I digress. Basically, like, it becomes very clear that the reason it's not just being gay that is the hurdle for Shane and Ilya. It's like the fact that, you know, so much money and like fan involvement and general like the stakes of hockey depends on their rivalry. And like, I think from having like done my own research, and again, my algorithm just serving me all sorts of shit, I think she was quite inspired by like Sidney Crosby and this guy, I can't remember what his name is, Alexei Ovechkin, maybe? I'll come back to that. But they had this huge rivalry, and it was a similar thing that they started in their rookie season and like went all the way along, and they still are both playing now. And they essentially like saved the NHL franchise because they had this like big thing that happened where nobody won the Stanley Cup for like 2 years because of some strange thing, and then they came in and like everybody got invested again because there was this big rivalry. So it's quite interesting in terms of like what I learned about hockey. That's what I've learned, not from the show, but from my background research.
Side research.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how they kind of play up those stakes and make it so clear that, you know, Scott and Kip can be together because Kip's not a hockey player. And like Troy Barrett can be with who he is with because, again, he's not a hockey player. They don't play on rival teams. And there isn't this like huge weight of like the hockey world on their shoulders. So I'm excited to see how they do that.
I'm excited for season 2. I can't wait. I want you to come back for season 2.
I will be there with bells on.
The only thing that I want to mention is something that made me really emotional that I found out yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, I learned that when Ilya wins the cup, because I don't think the subtitles were on for that moment, but when Ilya wins the cup and there's that emotional moment where Shane is watching the TV and he's tearing up, and, you know, it's sad because they can't celebrate each other's wins.
Yeah.
And when Ilya lifts the cup up, he says in Russian, "For you, mama." And I didn't know that.
So cute.
All you can see is he's shouting and he's got tears in his eyes, but
and
he
looks
shouts for you,
so
mama.
happy.
Yeah. It's for you, mama. It's beautiful. I really hope that if people have listened to this and they haven't, first of all, sorry if you've not read or watched it yet, because we probably spoiled everything.
I know, we have spoiled literally every single thing.
I hope that you enjoy it regardless.
Yeah.
I have absolutely loved doing this, and we could have spoken for hours. I think we've shown self-restraint, honestly.
We really have, yeah. I mean, I really could have gone even deeper, and that's actually scary. But
yeah,
but
I think we're obsessed, but I love that. So before I let you go, Hannah, I do like to finish by asking what you'd like to plug. Would you like to tell us a bit about your book?
Yes. So I wrote a book called I Make My Own Fun, which here it is in paperback.
Gorgeous.
I mean, it's actually not a visual podcast, but
no, but
I'm holding it.
Also.
Yeah. So the book, it came out in paperback last month in March, and it is kind of a satire about celebrity culture and gossip and parasocial relationships, which is ironic considering where I'm currently at in my relationship to Heated Rivalry and Hudson Williams in particular. But it's about a really famous woman called Marina who has a flawless reputation and like legions of fans around the world. She's an actress, everybody adores her, but she's secretly a psychopath. And we meet her at a particular like inflection point in her life, and she meets this bartender called Anna and becomes completely obsessed with her, like really fixates on her. It's a bit of a reverse celebrity stalker narrative. She kind of does whatever is within her power to win Anna over, and you kind of just watch her spiral basically throughout the course of the book.
It's so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. I mean, I was hoping to finish it before this. I am 150 pages in.
Okay, yeah,
so I'm over the halfway point, but she's just bought the house in London.
Okay, yeah. She gets worse from there.
Oh my God. But I am so obsessed with the way that you've told this story, like for the listeners, you go between her perspective live, and then also like Reddit threads and like interviews that she's given. And I think that's such a cool way to set out this story, because you really get involved in like how she's perceived and how she actually is. It's so good.
Thank you. Well, I mean, in case it hasn't been obvious from the last however long we've had, an hour and a half of us, of me chatting, I have a tendency towards obsession. And
Fair.
I also, like, the way that I often explore that is by, like, you know, I've been on Reddit, I've looked on the fan forums, like I've been, you know, I've seen all of the Taylor Swift subreddits and all of the fan theories. Like, I know a lot about all of that stuff, and I find that the way that we project certain personality traits and certain kind of morals and beliefs and stuff onto famous people who we really have never met and never will meet is really interesting. And I wanted to, it felt really important to me that I did have those kind of mixed media elements in there, because I wanted to show the kind of like constructed version of who she is and how far that person is from who she really is inside. And what I hope that I've done is kind of show how murky and difficult it can be to differentiate between the two when you're the person who's having all of that projected onto you. Like, she doesn't really know what's real and what's not in terms of who she is and how she navigates the world. But it was a lot of fun to write.
I
had
can
an
imagine.
Absolute riot.
I can imagine. And there's a lot of crossover with I Met My Own Fun and Heated Rivalry in terms of celebrity culture and you know, how people are perceived and the sort of persona that they've got to put on.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by that.
I mean, me too. Like, I think it's really interesting. And, you know, like I just talked about the Taylor Swift stuff, but like Taylor Swift is a perfect example of somebody who we know everything and nothing about her. Like, we don't know how she spends her time. We don't know really what her political beliefs are. We don't know like what her sexuality is. Not that we should, like, we don't have any right to that, but like so much is projected onto her. And because she reveals quite a lot of stuff about herself in her songs, but again, that's like a perfectly crafted narrative that she is pushing to us. There's this false intimacy between us and her, and that exists kind of across the spectrum of celebrity, and obviously exists in Heated Rivalry as well. And I guess we'll see that in season 2, like I
guess we will.
How they navigate those waters.
And I guess I'll see you back for season 2, Hannah B.
You sure will.
I can't wait. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and doing this with me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me. This has been a delight.
This has been a delight. Like, genuinely, I think we could have spoken for about 4 hours and not got bored. But yeah, this is us again showing self-restraint. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, listeners, for listening. I will be popping links in my show notes to follow Hannah. I will also pop a link in for her Substack and for her amazing book, which is out now in paperback. And of course, if you have thoughts on Heated Rivalry, come and tell us.
Please tell me.
We would love to hear. We'd love to chat forever about it. So yeah,
we really would.
Even if you're listening to this a year down the line, we'll still want to chat.
And
I mean, this is surely it'll be coming out next year.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's coming out next year.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.